It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson, only on 610 CHTM.
Good morning and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Jaret Schneider, and joining me once again today is Mayor Tim Johnston. Good morning, Mayor Johnston.
Good morning.
Before we get into the questions, first I'll give you the first minute to run things down from the past week.
Well, just a little bit of an update in terms of some of the activities over the last week. I'll start by saying it was a very busy weekend in Thompson, and I want to acknowledge all the volunteers that made the different events really happen. I had the chance to take in the opening ceremonies for the 43rd Annual MUN Cup and take a little bit of the action there at the Thompson Regional Community Center. And again, the volunteers have done a wonderful job. That's probably one of the longest standing events in Thompson, obviously, at 43 years. So hats off to Thompson Minor Hockey and the MUN Cup organizing committee. Also took in one of the North Star games, and it was a great weekend for them, and they're going to move on to play this weekend. So congratulate to the organization, and especially the players. And also on Saturday, I had the chance to take in the Idle No More presentation hosted by our Member of Parliament, Nikki Ashton, and the Thompson Neighbourhood Renewal Corporation. So I know there were a number of other events on as well, but certainly busy weekend. And again, it was great to get out, and the weather was a little bit nicer. Also, last week, we had the regular meeting of council on Monday night, and I know we'll have a bit of chance to discuss some of the items that came up there, so that'll be good. In terms of some of the other things, I just want to note for people, I said during the mayor's report on Monday night that we understand and we appreciate the calls we're getting from the Eastwood area regarding the odors from the sewage treatment plant. And I can advise the public, and we are going to be putting out a PSA, that we are endeavoring to look at the specific problems that we've had. We've had a number of problems. It's a 50-year-old plant, but we certainly are going to do all that we can to try and eliminate or reduce the odors. They are unacceptable, and I had a chance to visit the plant on Friday afternoon and tour and take a look at some of the things that we need to do. And again, we're doing everything we can, and we'll continue to do that and keep the public aware. But I do appreciate the calls from people, and certainly understand the concerns expressed. In terms of some of the other things, this weekend we've got the final weekend, I guess, of Winterfest, and I encourage people to take in the Al Simmons performance on February 23rd at the Electment Theatre starting at 1 p.m. For tickets, you can contact the Rec Department office at 677-7952. And then just to end off, a little bit of good news for our community is that we received notice on February 15th from the federal government, and specifically regarding the Census 2011, that our appeal was reviewed, and they have increased the population for the city of Thompson by 297 to 13,123. They gave a variety of reasons why they did that. And we certainly agreed with the reasons. We thought that it probably substantiated a larger increase, but we're certainly pleased that they did recognize some of the issues we raised and increased our population. This is good news because what it means, just that 297 people increase is equivalent to approximately $50,000 a year in additional revenues for the city of Thompson, which we now can provide either in services or eliminate that need for that to be raised by the taxpayers. And that's why we've said that census was so important to the city, because we are paid on a per capita basis for our annual grants, whether they're for general municipal services, policing, things like that, as well as for things like the gas tax. So that's good news, and I think it sends a message that we continue to be a community that has a strong population. We are consistent, and we believe we're actually larger than what the number says. Some of their reasoning, I think, supported that, but it's good news for us in our community, and it follows on some of the other good news stories that I've been talking about over the last few weeks, and I think it's all a part of the community getting back to that state where we'll continue to grow and prosper. So I just wanted to pass that along.
204-677-8181. Replan met with representatives from all across the city last night to talk about some land that could possibly be owned by the city in the future, about 85 acres. Would you be able to tell us how the process went last night, how it's going now, and where kind of things stand at this point?
Well, this again is another one of those good news stories. As part of the grant and loop process that we negotiated with Valley over the last year, the city has taken in approximately 155 acres of new land that will be used for commercial, residential, industrial space. There's 3 different parcels. Last night, the session was held to discuss the parcel that is referred to as the Yale-Newman subdivision, which will be just to the north of currently Yale and extending Nelson Road. The discussion last night was talking about some of the options and some of the plans for moving forward, and the general concepts are that it would contain mixed housing in terms of likely single residential, but also apartment-style housing, a new commercial area, and really the opportunity to plan a new neighborhood that hasn't been done in Thompson for many, many years. And this continues on the notion that we believe we will continue to grow and need that land. So last night was a bit of an opportunity for the public to have some input on what they envision, and there will continue to be opportunities in terms of input over the next number of months, because we want to make sure that we have a good sense of what the public wants to see. So again, that's one of the parcels. The other 2 parcels, one is out by the existing train station, and the other one is adjacent to Burntwood Road. So, and some of those lands will be made available in the near future too. So again, it's an opportunity to do some planning for the future, and it's another asset that we've now added to the community and as part of the recent negotiations.
So with the new area, the Yale-Newman area that you mentioned, what were some of the things that were brought up last night at the meeting that were maybe some suggestions by the public?
Well, I thought there were some really good suggestions. One was to ensure that we protect the park space, green space along the Burntwood River, and that we start to focus on that a little bit more and make it more a part of the plan. It never has been really, we've never really highlighted those things in the current plan, so I thought that was good. Certainly the need for mixed housing was raised, and new housing units, and the opportunity to ensure that if we're going to be developing commercial, and I think we have had some of that demand, to ensure that we connect the existing downtown with this new area. So ideas of walkways and making sure that it's walkable, friendly in terms of traffic. Real good suggestions, and I think the planners will now take that, put that together. They had a few options as well, and so it was a good opportunity to have some dialogue.
So obviously with some of the planning being done last night now, if the city does get the land, what is going to be the next step after this?
Well, the city does have the land. The land is now, it's been finalized in the agreement. So now we'll go through the planning process, and the subdivision will take place, and then we'll move forward in terms of development opportunities over the next few years.
Okay, 204-677-8181 on council on Tuesday because of the holiday on Monday. A resident of Burntwood proposed the idea of a new outdoor arena facility to be used for both summer and winter. I talked to you a little bit about it after the meeting, and I'll save some of the details for you to talk about, but what would it mean to have this new facility for that area?
Well, Trevor Anderson appeared before council as a delegation, and I really appreciated his presentation. It was well thought out, well presented, and as indicated by most members of council, it was very much appreciated. I like to see neighborhoods come to council and make suggestions, offer solutions in terms of how we deal and make this community a better place to live. So what's been presented to council is the notion of a year-round facility that could be used as an outdoor skating rink in the winter, and then a play surface in the summer. The neighborhood has come forward and said, look, we want to work with the city, and the city certainly indicated that we want to work with the group in terms of looking at the potential fundraising and moving forward. I really like this. I think that this talks about the type of community we want to be, that sense of involvement by the community, neighborhood pride, all those things. And I really believe it's built on that example that Rotary Park has proven so clearly to this community, that when neighborhoods get involved, they can make some amazing things happen, and our role at the city is to support and assist. And so I look forward to the discussion with Trevor and the Burntwood neighborhood and moving forward. And I like the timeline. I think it's this year and next summer, and I think that by working together we can make some good things happen.
204-677-8181. It was just a presentation, but what would be the next step for the city to go through before seeing some action take place? You mentioned this year and then next summer.
Well, I understand that coming out of this meeting, Trevor and his group will be meeting with the Recreation Department and city officials to make sure that we understand, the objectives and the plan and how we can ensure that it's one thing to build facilities. You always have to maintain and operate them afterwards and make sure that we're all on the same page. And then I think it's a question of moving forward. I think we've seen so many of these good projects over the last couple of years because of the willingness for the public to get involved. I go back to the skate park, again, Rotary Park, where, we can make things happen fairly quickly when we're all at the same table trying to do the same things and working together. So I'm excited about the possibilities here, and we'll work together and see what happens.
204-677-8181. A letter from the Minister of Justice, Andrew Swan, was read at Council and talked a little bit about throughout Council with the councillors. The letter was in response to the letter the city had written regarding policing and public safety concerns in Thompson. I know the letter back from Minister Swan didn't get rave reviews, so could you talk to us a little bit about what the letter said and how the discussions went at Council on Tuesday?
Well, and I think the public's aware, we've been in ongoing negotiations and discussions with the province of Manitoba with respect to some of our key public safety issues in the city of Thompson, and I'll highlight some of those. Obviously, we've said we want to see a cadet program similar to what's offered in Winnipeg available in Thompson. The Premier made a promise in the last election that program would be introduced to rural Manitoba. We haven't seen that happen. We're saying we'd like to be at the table. We're more than happy to be the first to move forward, but we want to see that cadet program. The second one is we want to see the results of the capacity review on corrections in Manitoba. We had made a proposal. The province has moved forward on the first action in terms of the correctional facility in Dauphin. We'd like to sit down and at least see what the recommendations were. We haven't seen that yet. We've asked the minister for that. We've talked about the crime severity index, and by that basis, Thompson is the most violent community in Canada. And I've said it before, I'm not very proud as the mayor to say that. And I don't think as a community we can. I don't think as a province we can be proud of that. And we've gone to the province and said we want to work together to address those issues that are resulting in us being number one. And we just don't seem to get traction from the province, and so we want to follow that one up. And the last one is the policing costs. It's our belief in Thompson that Thompson residents are asked to pay roughly $1 million a year more than what counterpart communities like Steinbach or Portage, which are roughly the same size, are paying. I don't believe that's fair for Thompson residents. So we've asked the province, and we've written both to the Premier, and this response from the Minister was a result of a letter to the Premier. We've asked to sit down. As you'll recall from Monday night, the Minister has said that he'll provide us an update to that letter with the results as to some of our questions. We haven't received that yet. We want to work cooperatively with the province, but we're just not seeing the traction on these issues. And I appreciated the support and the comments from members of council that we have to continue to push the province to respond to these, as well as the other key public safety issues, and specifically the detox. I hope to have that conversation. One of the good suggestions that came forward was perhaps we've got to stop meeting in Winnipeg and invite the minister or the premier to Thompson to actually see the issues that we face as a community, and then we can begin to work together to address them.
That'll pretty much do it for City Beat this week, but before we go, I'll give you the final 30 seconds to wrap things up.
Well, just again, I appreciate the opportunity to share some of the updates regarding the City of Thompson and City Hall. Again, it looks like it's going to be a great weekend weather-wise. Encourage people to get out and cheer for the North Stars, even though they're on the road. Pleasant thoughts hopefully will help, and everyone have a great weekend, and again, safety first.
That will do it for City Beat. Once again, this week, make sure to tune in every Thursday at 11:30 for another edition of City Beat. I would just like to thank Mayor Johnston for coming in today, and to everyone, have a great rest of your day.
Next Thursday morning at 11:30.